Hi, thanks for joining me here today. I intend to share a practice that I do routinely, daily when possible, something that I thought about putting together and presenting on YouTube for family and friends close and afar that I get to check in with, but also for anyone who subscribes and is viewing this. Feel free to join along. It's a practice to better enhance mobility through the body, explore ranges of motion, particularly controlled ranges of motion. Will work from head and neck all the way down to feet and toes. You will not need a whole lot of props except for space to move. So check to see that you have space to move, arms around, arms overhead. Okay? And then in terms of minimal props, if you happen to have any kind of balls you can hold and squeeze to create tension, I'll explain this in a moment, to create tension through the body using the squeezing action of the hands with the balls. If you don't have balls, you can always get a small hand towel, fold it in half, or however you want to roll it up and fold it and squeeze it so it has a ball-like quality or something to give you a squeezable feel. So you can figure that out creatively at home. Otherwise, I will be using these two tune-up therapy balls. All right, so we're going to begin with the feet a little bit wider than hips width distance. Okay, you decide how the toes will point forward, slightly out, whatever is comfortable for you to ground yourself. Press the feet down into the ground and as if you're screwing the feet in through the ground, so you feel some tension through the legs. Feel the buttocks engage, feel your abdomen draw back, squeeze the balls with your hands, take the arms out to the side and rotate the arms slightly out. Now I want you to keep tension through the body, so pressing the feet down, squeezing the buttocks in, bracing the abdomen back, and continually holding tension through the arms using the balls to squeeze. And right now, you're about 50% effort of that tension, or what we can call or think of as irradiation through the body. Okay? So we're going to start with a rotation of the neck spine, moving the head in a circle. I'll give an explanation really quick and then we'll do it together a little bit slower. So I'm going to move the neck and head in a circle, okay, but I'm just doing it quickly to show you that if I feel any pain in what's called the closing angle, which happens to be here, okay, I want the stretch to be in the open angle and no pain in the closing angle. So if this was paining me here, I would make the angle bigger and the circle a little smaller, okay, moving around that closing angle pain. Okay. If there's no pain, I go for the biggest, cleanest circle I can create without getting into any closing angle pain. All right. I'll explain that in other positions too as it comes up. Right now, we're working on the neck. So here we go. Press your feet down into the ground, squeeze the buttocks in, brace the abdomen back, squeeze with the balls, turn the arms out. Nothing below the collarbone, shoulders is going to move. Take an inhalation to begin. And now slowly lowering the chin down towards the chest, moving the chin to your left, so gliding the chin over the left collarbone, dropping the left ear to left shoulder, moving the head back, looking up towards the ceiling, gazing across the ceiling, right ear to right shoulder, turning to look down, chin across the right collarbone, back to center one more time, same direction. Keep pressing with the feet, keep squeezing with the balls. So maintaining that tension as you move through the cervical spine, the neck spine. Once you've completed your two circles, you'll go the opposite way, so moving the chin to the right, dropping the right ear to right shoulder, so there's a little side bend in the neck. Then there's a back bend, gazing across the ceiling, left ear to left shoulder, chin across the collarbone, checking to see that the rest of the body is not moving, particularly the hips or the buttocks, not moving back or forward, trying to maintain that control as you complete your second round, second direction. Okay, so next is the shoulders, so the scapula, then we'll do the shoulder heads. So for this one, I'm going to turn to the side like this. So you can see my hands and arms. I've raised the arms parallel to the floor and ceiling. squeezing with the balls, pressing with the feet, buttocks in, abdomen back. And I'm going to resist the hands and forearms from moving a whole lot up and down. Okay, so the shoulder blades will move up and down, forward and back, but I'll resist with the hands and forearms moving. Press with your feet down, squeeze with your buttocks in, draw the abdomen back, and now raise your shoulders up to the ears. Pull the shoulder blades back, drop the shoulder blades down, then forward, up, up and back, back and down, down and forward, forward and up, back, down, forward, and making these smooth circles through the scapula, and resist the neck and head from moving, resist the forearms, hands from moving. Now reversing direction, so the shoulders are lifted up, they'll move forward, you'll lower them down, pull them back, lift them up, so there's elevation of the scapula, pull them forward for protraction, release them down for depression, and pull them back for retraction. So go through these positions smoothly, with control, with tension through the rest of the body, and then releasing the arms and hands down. Okay? Next, we'll do thoracic spine or the upper back. So for this one, you're going to cross your arms. You can optionally hold the balls for further tension or put the balls off to the side, but crossing the arms in this sort of alligator mouth shape. Okay? However you can hug yourself. Hug yourself here. I like to take the feet a little bit wider for this one. Again, screwing the feet into the ground, gripping the buttocks in, bracing the abdomen back, and now tucking the chin. I'm going to show from the side, rounding the upper back without throwing the buttocks back. You may not find a lot of flexion in the spine, but go for maximum flexion of spine without throwing your buttocks back. And now slowly move to your left. You're going to turn the body to the left. Then drop your left shoulder towards your left hip. So there's a side bend. Then there'll be a back bend. Keep the chin towards the chest as you arc back. Then right shoulder to right hip or heel. Look to the floor. Come across. Again, press with the feet. Squeeze the buttocks. Squeeze the balls. So find tension where you can as you move. Big circle across your upper back thoracic spine. 2 circles one direction. You'll come up, switch the crossing with the arm, squeeze with the ball, squeeze with the feet, releasing the chin and rounding your back. So spinal flexion as much as you can without throwing your buttocks back. Move to your right. Drop the right shoulder to right hip. So side bend and arching back for a back bend. Imagine you're rolling over a exercise ball or a beach ball. Left shoulder to left heel or left hip. Look to the floor as you come forward and across. One more time, moving in the same direction, moving slowly and with control. And then releasing. All right, next are shoulder cars. So we did scapula cars. Okay, cars, by the way, are controlled articular rotations. That's what we're doing. So it's just an abbreviation for controlled articular rotation. All right, next is the shoulders. So we did the scapula, but now the shoulder, head, and arms. So for this one, I'll have you step asymmetrically, okay, with the left foot forward, right leg back. So a asymmetrical position of the feet and legs, and then pressing with the feet down and trying to pull the feet in towards each other, as if you're going to drag the floor or whatever's underneath towards each other, so as to create tension through the lower body and the legs. And taking the right arm out to the side, squeezing the ball. Left arm is going to move forward and turn so the ball faces the ceiling. Keep the arm lifted close to the ear as much as you can, unless there's some closing angle pain. Then you take the arm out to the side, take the arm up and back until you cannot take it up and back. Then begin to turn the ball away from your head, rotating the arm bone, lowering the arm behind you as close to the body as you can manage, and bring it beside the outer hip and leg. Keep the arm internally rotated You take the arm behind you through extension until you cannot rotate and extend behind you. Then begin to spin the ball, spin your arm, the top of the shoulder, rotating the arm up, overhead, forward, and we'll go again. Press the feet in towards each other, squeeze the opposite hand ball, take the left arm up, take the left arm out, left arm back, down, in, opposite direction. So take the arm behind you, keep tension through the body where you can find it, rotating at the arm, bring the arm up, forward, and down. Great. Opposite side. So just to revisit that idea of closing angle, opening angle, pain that you want to avoid. So for in this case, this would be the closing angle. The stretch we want to feel is the opening angle. So if there was some pain here, my circle with the arm may look like this. Okay? You're striving for as close to the midline as possible. Right? But if there's any pain at the top of the shoulder, the closing angles, it could look something like this, like out to the side. You don't have to go through this big circumduction of the arm. It can be a smaller circumduction of the arm. Okay? Circumduction meaning the big circle that you're making. And then at the top of the shoulder, there's an axial rotation while you're moving through this circle. All right, let's put that into practice. Right foot forward, left foot back. Squeeze the feet in towards each other. Get the buttocks to feel tone. Draw the abdomen back. So there's a bracing of the abdomen. Left arm out to the side, squeeze the ball, right arm comes forward across the midline of the body. Begin to rotate the arm bone where the bicep is turning out as it goes around and behind your ear. Then take the arm out to the side, spin the bicep to roll forward. So there's an internal rotation of the arm bone. Keep that arm bone internally rotated, so the biceps rolling in. And take the arm behind you, internally rotated, and then go for external rotation. Make that crossover as smooth as you can, as steadily as you can. Let's do that one more time. Take a gaze somewhere across the room. Focus there so your neck and head are not moving. Move slowly, 1 mile per hour speed. So you're able to own and control each degree in the range of motion through this circle and rotation. The arm up, the arm overhead, forward, and down. Great. Let's put the balls away for a bit. Next, elbows and wrists. So you'll stand in a position with the feet hips width, elbows bent something like this. So now the elbows will not move side to side or forward and back. So the upper arms are locked in position. Think of some dense air that you want to bring close to you, slowly, with control, without bending in the wrists. Okay, there we go. Press through the feet down, squeeze the buttocks in, brace your abdomen back, and now bring that air closer to you, pressing the palms closely to your upper arms, shoulders. Then slow rotation of your forearms so the palms, hands face away, and then push that thick air down, as if there's some air you're trying to compress, make it dense feeling. Slow rotation of your forearm, turning the arm bone out so the palm faces the ceiling. Bring the palms towards you, slowly. Slow rotation of the arm. So pronating the arm as you press the forearm, palm down. Keep the arm this way, palm pressing down. Now backs of the hands, the nails coming towards you, slowly. Supinate, turning the arm out so the palms face you. Back to the arms, hands, pushing down. Again, pronate, so the forearms face down, palms face down. Bring it back to the arms, the fingernails towards your shoulders. Supinate, turn the arm bones. Slow movement, back to the arms, pressing away. And then release. Shake out the hands, shake out the arms. Maybe wipe a little sweat. If you're breaking a sweat, I sure am. That concept of irradiation tied in with the fact that when, just to take a little time out and explain, that if you were to lift a heavy object off the ground, like a big jug of water or cooler of water or a dear child or some luggage that you would not just use your hands and arms, but rather your feet, your buttocks would engage, your abdomen would brace, maybe even your face would tense, so that way your whole body is involved to protect you from being sort of limp as a noodle to pick something heavy up. So that concept of irradiation here, that the recruiting muscles throughout the rest of the body, whatever that we're not moving, is still turned on, so as to better enhance the movement that we're or the joints that we're isolating. So this practice of independent joint control so as to enhance and make better interdependent joint movement, which is the rest of the day, how we move interdependently. But here we're asking joints to move independently, and how much can they do on their own without compensating from other body parts. All right, let's put that into practice at the wrists. So again, same position of the arms, elbows are bent at 90, palm facing the ceiling. We'll do wrist rotations. I'll step a little closer so you can see. So the hands are going to move in towards each other, or adduct. Then you're going to move them down through extension of the wrist. And then they're going to abduct out to the side and then flex towards your face. So in, down, out, up. And you're checking to see that the forearm is not turning. That when you're doing the rotation of the arm, the forearm is not turning. I like to see the wrist crease as best as I can keep the wrist crease parallel to the ceiling, or you have a glass of water or any one of your favorite drinks, you would not let it tip, so it's setting on your forearm. Let's try that again, but moving the opposite direction. So we'll abduct out to the side, extend down towards the floor, adduct in, and flex up. So out, down, in, up, trying not to move the forearm at all. So only the wrist and hand are moving. Of course, the forearm muscles, the wrist extensors are involved to get the hand and fingers to move, but resisting the forearm from moving. All right. All right. There's other ways to do the wrist. I've made a whole other video. I believe it's on my Facebook. I'll put it on YouTube as well, just focusing on wrist rotations. There's lots of other ways to block out the forearm and even squeeze the fist this way, have the arm in different position, and do different wrist rotation. But as a general practice, just getting the hands and wrist to move slowly through a controlled articular manner. Okay? Next, we're going to get in a quadrupedal position, which means just on all fours. I'll point the camera down. You may want to get a mat or blanket, something to put padding for the knees. If you need for the hands, you can do so too. This will look similar to the cat and cow position, if you're familiar with that in yoga practice, but done a little bit differently. I'll show it first, and then we can do it together. My hands are underneath my shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I have my toes tucked under. You can also try with tops of the feet down. Here I'm pushing the ground away and rounding my back like a cat. So I'm tucking my chin in, scooping the buttocks under, hiding the tailbone under. So I'll stay in this flexed position and move segmentally from the lower spine to the upper spine. So I stick the buttocks out behind me, begin to point the tailbone up, begin to arch my lower back, lumbar, mid-back region, upper back, thoracic, shoulder blades, neck and head. So now I'm in spinal extension, chin away from chest. I stay extended like this, and I start from the lower spine again. So I start to hide the buttocks under, tucking the tailbone in. I feel the sacrum spread, the lower back, lumbar region spreading, thoracic spreading, shoulder spreading, neck and head spreading. Okay, so maybe you did that with me. That's all good. Just to emphasize that it's not a global movement like this. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just we're trying to move segmentally, so that way we can move each part of the spine, right? Not just where we can move and only move there and restrict movement where we can't, okay? So there are global movements you can do, and now we're trying to do localized movements, so segmentally, disc by disc, from tailbone all the way up to the neck, cervical spine. So here we go. You can join along with me. So push with the hands down, tuck your chin, round your back, so shoulder blades spreading, belly button drawn in towards the spine, lower back rounding, tailbone tuck. Keep everything rounded except your buttocks. You'll start to point back, your tailbone lifting up, lower back arching, mid back arching, upper back arching, then neck and head. Chin away from chest, push with the hands down, shoulders away from ears. Maybe look at something across from you at the wall. Keep your gaze there, chin away from chest, and begin to tuck the buttocks under, scoop the tailbone under. Begin to round your lower back, mid back, upper back, then finally neck and head. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and finish up there. You can do 2 rounds of that if you didn't have a chance. I showed 1 round and that was a round together. So if you'd like to just pause the video and do another round, great. Okay. So next we'll do hip rotations. So you can do this standing against a wall like this, or you can grab a broomstick, something for balance that you could hold. So that way you could do rotation of the hips, or if you happen to have a dowel of some kind or a staff laying around, I happen to have this really cool wand staff here at this residence that I'm staying in Panama City Beach, Florida. So you can use this or have a hand at the wall. It'll be more or less the same thing. I'll just show with the staff or a dowel. Okay. So going through a rotation and movement of the hips. So here we go. I'm going to press the staff down, the dowel down into the ground, and then balance on one leg. So I'm lifting the right knee up, and I'm going to go for internal and external rotation of the thigh bone. So externally rotating the thigh bone as if I've got a soccer ball or a hacky sack. I'm kicking up with the ankle. I'm going to try to fight for a little bit more rotation of the thigh bone by pressing the dowel down, then coming back to center, and internal rotation. As much as I can, I feel some gripping, some activity in the outer hip buttocks. External rotation, internal, checking to see that the knee's not moving side to side yet, but rather the thigh bone is moving internally and externally. I am pressing the standing leg heel down. I am pressing this dowel, the staff down to create force and tension. Releasing. Then we'll take the leg out to the side. So same leg, same side, lifting the knee, thigh up, taking the knee and thigh out to the side while I press the standing leg heel down, while I create tension through this dowel. So out to the side, trying not to move the pelvis, but rather the thigh bone out as I spread the pelvis. Then release. Same side we'll do again, but go through a full rotation. I'll show what this looks like. So lifting up, out to the side, now internally rotating the thigh bone. So the front of the thigh is facing forward, the foot and ankle are lifting up, and then taking the knee and thigh back behind me, and then down, up, out, internally rotated, like a hurdler jump or a fire hydrant dog sort of like position, and then reversing that, so knee and thigh back, foot back, knee and thigh out, up, forward, down, back, out, up, forward, and down. Second side, I'll show from the, well, first we'll do facing each other, and then I'll show from the side what to sort of look for or to take care of or avoid so as to not compensate from the spine. So first, lifting the knee. Sometimes I like to put the fingertip on the knee to see that the knee is not going to move as I ask the thigh bone to move, rotating out. Again, think of a hacky sack or a soccer ball you're trying to kick up. Try to kick up a little more by rotating at the top of the thigh. And then internally rotating from the outer foot, lifting up, outer shin lifting up. External rotation, push with the standing leg heel down, press with this dowel down, and Fight for a little more external rotation. You might even feel a little cramping. Good. Internal rotation. Fight for a little more internal rotation. And then release. Rest. Rest over. So now lifting up and then taking the knee and thigh out to the side and checking to see when you do this, right, that the chest doesn't lean forward and the buttocks doesn't move back. So try to stay as upright as you can. Still draw the abdomen slightly back so there's a slight rounding in the lower back as opposed to an arching of the lower back. So take the leg out, bring the leg forward, out, forward. I'm pressing down with the hands into this dowel. I'm pressing down the standing leg heel as much as I can, then releasing. Now we'll go through a circle. I'll show from the side again so that way you can see that when I take the leg out and go for the internal rotation, I minimize arching in my lower back so as to not create such an internal rotation where I have to arch in my lower back, but I'll minimize that. So these ceilings, by the way, are low enough where my hands can touch. Yours probably cannot, but I'm just wanting to show you with balance that if I could, I will do my best to keep the lower back from arching. So I keep thinking of the tailbone slightly moving in as I internally rotate, taking the knee back, foot back, but keeping the tailbone moving in as opposed to moving out. Keep the buttocks moving in. Then forward, up, out, internally rotated, back, down. Let's just do one more. Forward, out, internally rotated leg, lower down, extend back. Okay, now we'll go reverse direction. So back, out, up, forward, down, back, out, up, forward, down. Whew. So that one always feels really good on the hips. So there's different ways to do the hip rotations. That was a basic way. Standing, also great for balance practice. You could even try without support. So just checking to see if you can balance and do the rotations through the legs. And there's a quadrupedal way to do it, a reclining way to do it, lots of different ways to get the articulation through the hip joints. All right, next we're going to take a seated position. Sit on the floor or on a mat as you need. The staff looks pretty epic, so I'm gonna maybe just keep it there. Keep the staff here. All right, so next we'll rotate the kneecap. So the knee joint is generally considered a hinge joint, but it does have a rotational capacity at the patella, the kneecap. So taking your index and middle finger and thumb finger to hold the patella, and first just move it in and out and up and down. So see if you can get it to shift in and out. So to the midline of the body, away from the midline, and then up and down, so up towards the thigh bone, down towards the shin bone. And now to your best ability, move the patella in a circle, one direction, and then counter direction. Okay, so go in, go up, go out, go down, in, up, out, and down. Some will love this, some will be a little weirded out by this. The squishiness and movement of the patella may be unfamiliar. Okay, so opposite direction, but I find it soothing and sobering for the knee joint, especially if you're into any kind of high impact or plyometrics, jumping around or running, squatting, or just walking in general, right? So just getting the kneecap to move around. Opposite side, so first in and out, up and down, and then moving about in a circle. So in, out, up, down. I find on my opposite leg, it's less mobile. It was the first one I could move quite a bit, so it's just something to note and see. And now moving in a circle, so out and up and in and down. As best you can create that circle, and then opposite direction. All right, so now you'll sit in a position where you can hold behind the left leg. Right? So if you're not able to straighten the bottom leg, you can have the leg out to the side, whatever's comfortable for you. Holding the leg like a swing, okay? Hand to opposite arm, opposite hand, opposite arm. So you're blocking out the thigh. Okay? We're going to get to the shin. Now, if this is a hard position for you to hold the leg, you can hold behind the knee and thigh like this. Okay, so you choose how you want to hold the leg. Point the toes towards the shin. Lift the foot and shin up. Turn from the top of the shin, the foot and ankle out. Then shin, foot down. Turn the foot and shin in up and out and down, in, up, out, down, reverse direction. So stay externally rotated at the tibia, the shin bone, lift it up, internal rotation, lowering down, out, up, in, down. And then when you're down, just kind of tick-tock back and forth a little bit. So getting to see, maybe you can even look at the protrusion of the shin bone. Can you get the shin bone to move the foot rather than the foot moving the shin? And release, switch sides. So sit comfortably how you can, bracing the thigh with the arm underneath like a swing, opposite hand, opposite arm. So blocking out the thigh from moving or the hip from moving, or holding like this. You choose. Here we go. Pull the foot in towards the shin. Okay. Turn the shin foot out, up, move in, down. Rotate from the shin bone to turn the foot and ankle out. Lift up, in, down. Stay internally rotated as you lift the foot and shin up. External rotation, lowering down, in, up, turn out, release, and now tick-tock. So notice to see, can you get the shin to move the foot and ankle? And it might be subtle, might be challenging, but doing your best, that's what counts. Okay, release. First side again. This time, not moving at the shin, so hold on behind the thigh, and with the opposite hand, if you can hold top of the knee and shin so as to not move from the shin now, and making ankle circles, so making as big of a circle with the ankle. Resist using the toes for now. There is a way to do it with the toes, but for right now, just have the toes kind of go numb or completely relax. And notice the speed that you're going. See if you can go half that speed, or 1 mile per hour speed. Going through a slow, controlled, articular rotation of the ankle, reverse direction. Try not to move from the shin, knee, or thigh. Create the biggest, cleanest circle with the ankle and foot. And release, switch, opposite side. So there's nothing wrong with going fast. It's just we skip over sort of the gray zones or blackout areas where we don't feel control. So it's nice to go slowly so as to see where you have control or where you kind of skip over, and it gets better with time. I think of this joint mobility work more like kind of like flossing for the teeth, and getting all that plaque and gunk out. And may not feel good in the moment or just kind of whatever, but afterwards you always feel like you did something nice for your mouth and teeth. So same thing for the joints of the body, keeping them well articulated independently so that interdependently they work better. Here as you can see, I was using my toes a little bit more, so I'm going to relax the foot. Go ahead and go in the opposite direction. This is my harder side, the one that I had rolled my ankle over a long time ago, so it doesn't articulate as well. All right, so we're almost done. Now we're down to the toes, so this you can do standing up. I'll point the camera down, so now you can see the tops of my feet and toes. I'm standing hips width distance with my feet. I'm going to lift all 10 toes up off the ground, spread them open, and then put only the big toe down. So go ahead and do it with me. Lift all 10 toes up and put only the big toe down into the ground. Push the big toe down and lift the other 8 up. Great. Lift the big toes up and put the big toes down. Lift the big toes up, and now put the other 8 down, keeping the big toes lifted. All 10 toes up, other 8 down, big toes lifted. All of them up, and put them down. One more time, lift all 10 toes up, and move from the little toe down, ring toe, middle toe, index, big toe. Lift all 10 toes up, put the little toe down, ring, middle, index, big toe. Okay, so like a piano key action from outside in. Let's do it one more time. Lift and spread the toes, and with control from outside in, planting them down. Okay, just for a brief moment, raise the heels, lower the heels, raise the heels, lower the heels. Okay, so the calf raises. And that's a wrap for today. Okay, so that's more or less a routinely practice that can be done in 20-25 minutes. It took a little bit longer for our session here as I was teaching and explaining. So a daily practice of the CARS routine, or the controlled articular rotations, from neck and head all the way down to toes and feet, as put forth through the functional range system, functional range conditioning, created by Dr. ANDREO SPINA. You can check out his work online. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments section, and I'll continue posting more and building up from this, different ways to do controlled articular rotations so as to better enhance joint mobility, something I discovered and found to really help me move better, feel better in not just my joints, but overall enhancement of my body, whatever I choose to do. Like I said, routinely, daily when possible. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me a message or leave a comment in this video below. And feel free to subscribe if you don't already subscribe for future videos coming up. Thanks and take care.